Well, Roosy, good to be catching up again, mate. What's it like this year, watching Melbourne from afar this year?
Look, it's great. I mean, it's funny being a supporter. You know, people ask me, which surprised me a bit. Oh, do you follow the D's? Yes, of course I do. I mean, had the day off and I went to the Melbourne Freo game, and I've been fortunate actually because Melbourne have played quite a few Sunday games. So with my work on Triple M, the 320 game, I've watched them a fair bit this year, and no, it's been great. You know, the excitement of the club. Did a Melbourne function the other week, and just the excitement around the club and watching the team play. So, yeah, look, it's very exciting.
Yeah. How do you find commentating on Melbourne games now?
Well, I think the guys that I commentate with are pretty good. I think they know that I want Melbourne to win. So, but you try and be unbiased and you try and deliver the story rather. So you try and take yourself away a little bit whenever you're commentating who's playing. And the other thing I think you've got to be a bit careful of is getting to, because I know the Melbourne players really, really well, so you don't want to give out information that's confidential information that you might have had a conversation or something around the way they play. So there's a bit of a balance, but it's not too bad.
Yeah. Who's really caught your eye this year with the players?
Oh, look, I think the experienced guys coming in has been really, really pivotal. Michael Hibbert has been unbelievable, like he's just been extraordinary. I think we knew what Jordan was going to bring, just that wealth of experience, the key moments in games, been really important. And I think Jakey Melksham's really starting to find his feet now, which is great. So I think those three experienced guys have added enormously to the team. Mitchie Hannon's been, so I'll probably start with the guys that I didn't know much about because they weren't at the club last year. He's been terrific for them as well. I think the younger guys are probably more aware of, so I haven't really been surprised at their development. Clayton Oliver's been great. Jaden Hunt's been fantastic. I've liked the way Oscar McDonald, particularly the last 3 weeks, has really started to find his feet. So they probably haven't surprised me as much because I had a lot to do with them and saw their development last year. But it's good to see some of those other guys coming in. And the depth on the list now, I mean, what Todd and Jace have done has been fantastic because we've suffered a lot of injuries, but we've been able to cover those injuries with some of those key guys.
Yeah, have you seen Simon involved as a coach this year?
Yeah, look, it's been exciting. I think, he did a lot of stuff last year, and that was a really key component of the succession plan with Josh and myself and Peter Jackson. And, so I think giving them an opportunity to coach, and I did a great job in last year's pre-season, did a great job with the game plan, taking training and all those sorts of things. So I think for Simon, it's just the next step up. He's really more, not so much about his footy stuff because he's fantastic at that and he's had a great opportunity to develop that last year. It's really now more about the man management side of it and just, understanding how the medical staff, fit in with the fitness staff and, the media and all those sorts of things. So, the game day stuff I reckon he'd do with his eyes closed, with all due respect. And he's got a great coaching group around him. Obviously, a lot to do with Benny Matthews as a player, and Jade's been terrific, and he's been there from day one since I got there. So, look, it's fantastic to see. And he'd already built really strong relationships with the players, which is such a key to being a great coach now. And he's a very behavioural-based coach, and certainly knows exactly what he expects of the players.
Do you keep in contact with some of the players pretty closely? Do they come to you for a bit of advice still as standing board?
Oh, it's more, coming over for dinner or just ringing them, catching up for coffee. I'm mindful of not overstepping the mark in terms of the footy stuff. So more social. I had a game of golf with Bernie, and Bernie would be happy for to say that he had a 77. 5 over, and he was actually, I only played 9 with him. He was par going down the last, and he lost the ball. Still had 2 over. So well done, Burn. Look, I love, but I don't overstep the mark. I mean, I'm not a footy coach now. I'm a supporter, but I still, love the players, and any chance I get, text them or try and keep in contact in a small way.
Yeah. Do you miss it at all, or are you happy?
Oh, in an overall sense, no. But, when you see the team winning, you miss the things you can't replace are the moments after the game, when everyone's won. And, one of the things that, I just loved when a team goes through such hard times is the smiles on everyone's face after a win. That first win we had against Carlton back in 2014. The Hawthorn win last, even the directors and you can see that everyone's enjoying it, and I think they enjoy it more when you go through tough times. There's no doubt about it. So to see the players' faces, I didn't get to see all of the West Coast game. I was doing another game, the Bulldogs Kangas game, but to see the siren go, Tommy McDonald kicked the winning goal, and the players and staff, and that's what you miss. But I'm really pleased with where the club's going, and happy with what I'm doing, and Goody's doing a fantastic job.
So we can't see you coaching again or back at club now?
Definitely not coaching, no. I mean, look, we got another planned trip at the end of the year. We're going to head away, and I think I've said a number of times, with Tammy's, what she sacrificed for, from a family point of view, getting back over the States and doing all that stuff. So, look, I'm just really pleased, that there's such a collective effort. You guys were there at the start, so the amount of work put in by Glenn Bartlett, Peter Jackson, and Josh, and Todd, and Jason, and so many great people over the admin and footy department is starting to bear fruit. And regardless of what happens this year, I'm really confident the club's going to have 5-6 years of unbelievable success. And if you get a little bit of luck at the pointy end, you get to hold the cup up, which would be nice to see.
How will you be this Friday night with Melbourne and the Swans? Is it a bit of an interesting one for you?
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously being at the Swans, you always have a close relationship with all the clubs that you're at. Fitzroy, I've still got great mates from Fitzroy. Lynchy I work with, Purdy's the CEO. A lot of Fitzroy people are still involved in footy. Matty Rindell, Scotty Clayton, so you still see them around. But look, the last club I was at was Melbourne, and that's the club I want to see do really, really well. I've seen John Longmire, win a premiership, and I've seen how successful the club's been, and what a great job they've done under Richard Collis and Andrew Ireland, and but now it'd be nice to Melbourne have a little opportunity, and but I'll obviously have a soft spot for Sydney. It's it's a no lose for me. I mean, if Melbourne play in the grand final against the Swans, that'd be not a bad day.
You tip Melbourne this weekend?
Yeah, look, I hope Melbourne win, and I know the Swans people would appreciate that and understand that. Why, just as much as I wanted the Swans to win in 2012 with John, and I was able to celebrate that day with them. I was working that day and interviewed all the players after the game and went back to their function, and hopefully it's Melbourne's time now, and hopefully John and Johnny Blakey and Andrew will understand that. They've had their chance, and now it's time for the Demons. I'm sure they're not going to step aside, mind you, so the boys will have to earn it.
Footy in 2017, how are you finding it? It's an incredible season. What are your views on it?
Yeah, look, it's fascinating. I think 3 years ago when I was doing the media, there was a lot of games that you'd look and you'd go to and you'd say, oh, geez, I just don't want to commentate on this game. It was right in the middle of expansion, and you'd get some really, really bad games. Coming back into it this year, there's not a game that you look at and you go, oh, gee, I don't want to go to the footy because of the way the footy is at the moment. Carlton did the Carlton Giants game, was it 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, 3 weeks ago. Carlton get up, great game. Did the Kangas game versus Bulldogs Saturday night. Every game I've done has been really, really exciting. And I think, we've been through expansion now, and probably the top it's come down a bit. I think that's helped everyone. There's no doubt teams like Melbourne have improved, Richmond's improved, Port have improved, Adelaide's improved. But again, no doubt in my mind that the top teams have come off by 5 to 10% because of the draft and the salary cap and through expansion. So it's given everyone a great... Someone gave me a stat that the last 7 times 17 teams played the second team or the first team they've won or something, so which is just incredible. Great season, and it's going to be fantastic for the rest of the year.
What else are you getting up to outside of footy at the moment?
Yeah, we got a conference we're speaking at next week, which is great. Tammy and I are doing the Roos Synergy, which is around wellness and leadership, which is great. We've got a book coming out at the end of the year. Podcast coming up as well. So look, it's exciting to try and pass on some of that knowledge, some of the stuff I learned at Fitzroy and then Sydney and then Melbourne, and doing all those sorts of things. So look, enjoying it and enjoying spending a bit more time on the golf course, and need to practice a bit more to beat Bernie. Watsy's challenged me as well, but I don't think I'm anywhere near that level. So look, enjoying it and loving doing the Fox footy and Triple M, and having a good time.
Great to catch up as always.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Bergs.